Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of Sports Talk Trio. Finally, an episode coming out, guys. We tried to do some online stuff, and that didn't really work well. But last time we talked, I think it was about week 15 or something, 16 in the NFL, something like that. I think it may have been 14. But now we're in the playoffs. We're headed to the divisional round.
Week of the. Wait, were you gone for finals? How long were you here for finals week?
I left Wednesday.
So we did do one, me and you. Yeah. So that was the Colts week. So that was week 15. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Week 15.
Week
so it's
15.
Been a while.
So the teams that made the playoffs.
We're in the divisional round.
We had the Browns, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Steelers, the Bills, Rams, the Lions, Packers, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, the Bucks.
Niners. Yeah.
And then we'll just discuss this. Browns versus Texans was the first game. It was kind of a rough game. Thought it was just gonna be a barn burner. It was gonna be a barn burner coming in because it was a close game, and then Joe Flacco decided to throw a few picks that led to touchdowns. So it's whatever. Season's over. We'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing for me was kind of the narrative after the game was about the defense on the road, and it's something I hadn't really seen before the playoff game, that the Browns defense was averaging like 30 points a game given up on the road, which is obviously crazy compared to I think it was like 13 or something at home. I don't know why that stat wasn't like out and about before the game, because that seemed pretty important, but it's kind of whack. Like, I don't know, I've never seen a defense like that. It's just like relies so much on the home crowd somehow.
I don't know. You have to put into the fact like half the games Shins played in Cleveland were like terrible rainy conditions. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't as bad this year.
A few, like the Niners game wasn't that really bad conditions.
It wasn't that.
The Bears game was terrible.
No, it wasn't. Bears game was fine.
I swear to God.
The Bears
sun was out.
Oh, it started snowing after. I think it was the next day or something. But
we had good weather for the Steelers game. It was just really cold for the Thursday night. Titans was fine. I don't really know what he's talking about. The Bengals one at the beginning of the year was a little rainy, I think, but I mean the stadium's on the lake, so you never know what to expect.
No, C.J. Stroud kind of just tore it up a little bit, and then like if you give up 2 pick sixes, there's no one wins that type of game.
Yeah, especially when you're already down.
I don't know. It just seemed like these guys kind of just gave up and folded.
They definitely gave up.
So. I don't know. The game didn't live up to the hype. I thought with a lot of people it was going to be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucked. So
like a lot of games.
Yeah, there was only one one-score game, right? Rams Lions.
Everything else was 14 plus points.
So it wasn't a great week.
We'll move on to Dolphins versus Chiefs. This game, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it was low key a lock for the Chiefs going in. Sawyer picked the Dolphins, which was it's kind of outlandish.
We tried so hard to tell him there is no possible way they win it.
I stand by the fact it's not because of the weather.
Yes, it is.
It is, dude.
It wasn't even raining.
But it doesn't. It was negative 30.
Dude. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
the Dolphins aren't all from Miami.
But a lot of them get used to it.
Tua clearly wasn't used to that.
Tua's just a fraud otherwise, but
Tyreek wasn't used to that. No,
Tyreek's used to
Tyreek literally played in Kansas City.
Tyreek was.
This is why these arguments are stupid.
My bro, you gotta admit, bro, you gotta look at if the Dolphins have ever won an away playoff game in the Northeast or
That's mad specific.
But it's a thing though, bro. It's something you gotta know.
There's 4 teams they could play.
It's something you gotta know. I know that stuff, bro.
Weather is definitely very important.
I think snow could be, but cold itself isn't.
It's the mind games though.
When it's that cold, it does.
It's harder to tackle. It's harder to catch the ball because it's a hard rock.
Well, yeah, the Chiefs struggled with that.
Yeah, no, both teams did.
So clearly, both teams struggled.
But one was more used to it.
Struggled.
The Chiefs had more drops.
The Chiefs
dropped 2 balls.
The Chiefs warmed up to it. The Dolphins couldn't do anything.
The Dolphins couldn't do anything because Tua's a fraud.
I wouldn't say that.
He's got a noodle arm.
He does have a noodle arm, and then in the cold, that thing just freezes up to
Their one big play was him underthrowing.
Oh
Tyreek
my God!
by 10 yards.
But that's half the games. That's half Tyreek's touchdowns, and he always goes out on Twitter saying, "Nah, he's throwing the ball where it's supposed to be." Trying to back him up, but at some points you can't back him up on that. So I don't know. That touchdown pass was at least 5 yards underthrown, and Tyreek's just shifty enough where he could come back to the ball.
We'll move on to the next game. The first game on Sunday, 4:30, was Packers versus Cowboys.
What a shock.
This game, what a shock. Jordan Love, he's a dog. Clearly learned from Aaron Rodgers. They look very similar out there, obviously with the way they throw the ball.
Dude, he was throwing everything off the back foot, just like A-Rod.
It was just too easy. It looked too easy for him.
I think all of us kind of agree. We knew Cowboys weren't Super Bowl contenders. At least I did.
Yeah.
But undefeated at home against a 9-8 Packers team, I thought it was a lock.
Me too.
I didn't like him in the next game. I thought they were gonna play next, they were gonna have trouble with. But I thought this one was actually a lock though for sure. Losing, getting killed in Jerry's world, that's just, I don't know. That's just questionable.
You got it?
I was on a plane for this game. I didn't see it.
Oh, you were on the plane during this game?
Yeah.
Dude.
I got off the plane. It was 28-12 or
dude,
something
it was just
that.
The Cowboys defense could not stop them.
Yeah, it was insane. They couldn't stop Aaron Jones.
It was like watching Tom Brady pick apart the Steelers' zone defense, dude. Everything was open. Aaron Jones looked like prime, 2019, 2018. I saw
he had 3 touchdowns.
He ran crazy,
I think he had
dude.
2 the whole season before that.
Oh my god, dude. He had let me see. He had over 30 fantasy points.
You got a fantasy point spreadsheet over there?
I have a fantasy playoff league with my home boys.
Oh.
My boys back home. I'm screwed. All I got is Pacheco, Samuel, and Kittle still alive. Dude, everyone lost, dude. This was the hardest year for it because every game was hard to predict. There was no freebies.
I mean, there was one freebie that you didn't take.
The Bills?
Yeah.
I think did I pick a Bill? I had to take. Here's the thing, bro. I got screwed over. Last quarterback I had to pick, so I just waited till my last pick because there's no one else going to take one, It was either Rudolph, Love, or Tua. And I was like, Rudolph's got the best chance of winning.
Bro.
So I took Rudolph, bro.
Bro, I would have probably taken Tua if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but no one was looking at Love.
Bro, Love would have been my second choice easily.
Bro, with the way Rudolph was slinging it. All right, speaking of that, we're going to move to the Rams versus Lions. A way better game. Goff was able to prevail in this one and hold on. Huge win for Detroit.
Ended in some controversy too. Maybe a missed holding call on Puka Nacua. I thought it was a hold watching it live.
I agree. I think the refs kind of got in the way on that one, but kind of is what it is. Lions got.
I'm definitely not mad about it.
Yeah, I feel like unless you're a Rams fan, you can't really be upset.
The Rams fans weren't that upset because I don't even think they were expecting to make the playoffs this year.
But they were hot, dude.
Yeah.
Everything was lining up for LA to win that game because LA's biggest strength is their wideouts and the biggest weakness is line secondary. So
Cooper Kupp just didn't have the greatest year this year.
He didn't have he was getting better as the year went on a little bit. Nothing crazy, but this game was bad, dude. It was not good.
Yeah, I will say what I didn't see coming is the post game. So Matt Stafford got booed as he came out pregame, which was already surprising to me personally. I mean, I get that he wanted to be traded, but dude did everything.
It was a playoff game.
Everything for that city.
I think it was just because.
Dude, but that city's so ramped up in the moment.
I get that, but
yes, they have respect for him at the end of the day, but they wanted. They were gonna do anything they can to win, and I think they thought booing could get in his head a little bit.
But the issue is where they already have a bad relationship with Calvin Johnson, and now after the game, Stafford said he's happy for the players. They asked if he was happy for the city of Detroit. He's like, I'm happy for the players.
Calvin Johnson did pull up to the game, so
he did, but that took about 8 years to repair.
I know, yeah.
Stafford's probably gonna take even longer now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll move on to Steelers-Bills Monday. Pretty boring game.
I don't even know where to start with this one.
I wasn't much tuned in, but
we beat ourselves. I watched this one through and through. Watched some tape. Went over the analysis. Called Mike T. Did a little bit of everything. We don't throw a pick in the end zone, and we get the refs to not suck up to Josh Allen and the Bills, which they do every game. There's proof of this. We're in that game. We all saw. We were a touchdown away in the fourth quarter. We got bailed out on some 3rd and 9. The Steelers' defense, I don't know what the percentage was, but it was at least 50% on 3rd down. Conversion for the Bills. It was terrible. Our defense on 3rd down was terrible.
That's a sign of not having T.J. Watt too.
It is a sign of not having T.J. Watt, but I don't know. I think anyone can still beat the Bills, but here's the thing: the Bills can beat anybody. Too, like, they're just too streaky. I think the biggest thing was definitely if Allen can find a way to not turn the ball over, though, I think they can win the Super Bowl. If he doesn't turn the ball over in the air or on the ground, they're gonna win.
I agree.
It's a big if, though.
But he didn't do it against us, and we didn't really get to him too much.
I think there
was like one pass that could have been picked. It was tipped, but like he held on. They really did a really good job holding on to the ball. Like, well,
I can see him making it.
Like that, I respect. Steelers, same old, same old. I was talking to my dad earlier. We've had the 20th overall pick, maybe half of my years of life. Like, if I'm going into a year, just if I'm doing my draft simulator, I can guarantee we're gonna be at 20. Because it's just a first round exit. It's annoying. Shout out to us for not getting killed though. 21-0 on the road.
Yeah, fair.
We made it a game, bro. We didn't back down like the Brownies, bro.
That's fair.
I got too much grit, bro. I was blasting every song, bro.
I
might as well play it on the speaker now, bro. Like in pregame, bro, I was blasting Wiz Khalifa, Renegade. Have you ever heard it's like Pittsburgh Steelers going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. You've never heard that?
No.
We don't mess with that.
Let me get this for the fans, bro.
Bruh.
They need to hear this, bro.
I really don't know if they need to hear this.
Let me see, bro. They need to hear this.
They can look it up.
All right, bro. Continue talking. Eagles, Bucks, bro.
Eagles, Bucks. Eagles absolutely are atrocious. I mean, the Bucks, to be honest, the Bucks played pretty good in this game. Probably could have played better, but the Eagles just suck. I don't even know what to say.
There's honestly not much to say on this one.
Yeah.
Like, I picked the Eagles. I honestly thought that...
I knew there was no chance they would win.
I just didn't think the Bucks were good enough to really go out and compete, but the Eagles just collapsed. I mean, yeah, there's really not much more to say than that. Obviously, A.J. Brown being out hurt. But...
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
You've never heard that.
I grew up in Cleveland. I'm not going to hear that anywhere.
No one's
straight
that song.
heat. Straight heat. Guaranteed win. You know what it was? I'll take responsibility for the loss. I couldn't find my terrible towel here. Like, it's here.
That's karma for everything you said about
I couldn't
about the Jazz.
find it, dude. But, like, when Diggs drank the water off our bench, I don't know if you saw the video of that.
I don't know
I
what
saw
you're
that.
talking about.
So he, ran like a crossing route, and he got, shoved out of bounds. And by our bench, he grabbed the water, and he drank from it. And I was like, that's some Jaguar stuff, bro. And he's going to pay for it, bro. They should have, bro. But the refs, selling as always.
Mike Ford Jr. gave us the terrible towel curse.
The Titans were the OG ones, because they were burning it during tailgates once, and that's when, they lost on a last second, they could have punched them for a yard, and that's when Paul Malu soared over the line.
Yeah.
I know you know that shit, buddy.
I've heard of that play.
And we'll move to NFL coach discussion. A lot of
mics.
Yeah, a lot of mics.
4 mics. Or 3.
A lot of coaches here who have been receiving a lot of
talk.
Yeah.
A lot of discussion where they could go. A lot of fake rumors too. Tomlin supposedly had a meeting with the players only yesterday to tell them that all the media stuff is not true. He's returning. That he's coming back.
There's no reason to fire someone who's never had.
He was never going to get fired. He was going to step away.
No.
He was going to step down. I don't know. As a Steelers fan, I honestly think Tomlin deserves better.
Can't win when you don't have enough talent.
Yeah.
It's on the front office.
It's on the front office, and it's on not having a quarterback. So I wasn't going to be mad if he left, honestly.
All I'm going to say is 9-8 ain't great.
He has no players, though.
But there's
he's had a great defense for years.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a QB.
And then before the defense, it was the Killer Bees.
Yeah, that was a great offense.
Yeah, but I'm saying we didn't have a defense back then.
I get that, but at some point, you've won 1 playoff game since 2010.
I know.
I'm not. This is gonna sound outlandish. I'm not saying these two guys are anywhere near close, but Jeff Fisher got fired quick for being mediocre year after year. He was putting out the same result every year,
Yeah, but
got fired. Jim Caldwell.
You gotta see what Tomlin does with what he has. Our defense.
Jim Caldwell took the Lions to 9-7.
He
got fired.
If you give this man a quarterback,
but one thing: if Tomlin gets fired,
I'm talking
within a day, he's getting hired by someone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's the thing, though. People know he's respectable and
he is
in the game of football.
But at some point, you might just need a change of scenery.
No, and I agree with you. As I said, dude, I feel like he deserves to go somewhere where the pieces are better in place.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel, that one's a really weird firing. That's one of the better coaches on the market too. We'll see where he goes. Could see him at Seattle. With Pete Carroll leaving, that'll be the next part. And then I'd love to see him at Ohio State, his former alma mater, but that won't happen because we got Ryan Day in office.
I don't know. When there was all the Tomlin rumors, we were all if he did leave, Vrabel's an ex-Steeler. I think we could try and sway him, but he's also wasn't he an ex-Patriot too?
He was.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's not some talks heating up with that. I think it's still early though. I think some teams want to see what Harbaugh's gonna do. I think they're kind of waiting to see.
Harbaugh's a Charger.
I think they're kind of seeing what direction
I think
he's gonna
go to the Chargers.
I think Mike McCarthy could end up as a Charger. To be
I
honest
think
with
McCarthy.
He's keeping his job.
Oh, he is. I thought you said he's leaving.
No, they just announced an hour ago.
Oh,
they
for
said
real?
he's coming back.
Yeah, we'll move into Mike McCarthy. He's gonna come back after winning basically nothing as a Cowboys coach. Puts up the winning season, but I think he's probably on his last year here. I think Jerry Jones just got to give him some credit where credit's due with making it to the playoffs. But he's I think he's better than Jason Garrett was.
Can't lose a home game.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's a team that bad.
I think he's kind of just too old. I think his time is up as a head coach. He'll be a good coordinator for someone, but it's too late for him.
With that, yeah. Next up, we got Sirianni. Everyone saw the deal with the Eagles this year. There's 2020 Steelers. Would they finish 1-7 or 1-6 in their last games?
They started 11-0. So
shout out Spence. Yeah, they started out. What did they start out?
11-0, I think.
Yeah, dude, that's bad. But
maybe 10-0.
A lot of players on the team say he lost this team. There's not really much respect for him anymore.
I think they have too many egos on that team.
I think they do too.
There's way too many egos in that locker room.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts starting to piss people off, I think.
Yeah, dude.
He acts depressed when he's not actually depressed.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know. It's a tough situation there. If you have a year like that, there's a problem with the staff for sure.
Yeah.
At that point,
there's definitely something wrong.
Brian Johnson doesn't do it either.
Brian Johnson sucks, but I feel like the people calling for him to be fired, I think it's a little premature. I think I'd rather see them make some roster changes and run it back. Because, Sirianni was just in a Super Bowl.
The biggest ego in that locker room is actually Sirianni.
It is.
Sirianni's an utter tool bag.
Yeah, he is. He's very Philly, which good for them.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
But you got to stop acting like a child. When your quarterback has to hold you back from arguing with someone is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's low esteem for sure.
Yeah. We'll move on to Bill Belichick, possibly the greatest NFL coach of all time. So I think he's going to Atlanta. That's all I'm going to say. I think they're going to get a quarterback in Atlanta, and he's going to be their coach.
I think he retires.
I could see that.
I'm kind of on board with that.
I think he steps away from the game.
I think...
he's old, I feel like there's not much left he wants. I think the worst move was putting him in the front office as the GM.
Yeah, so that's my thinking is my theory was that if McCarthy got fired, which I thought for sure he would, I thought Belichick would end up on the Cowboys.
Okay.
I thought it would end terribly because Jerry Jones and Belichick would be one of the greatest power struggles ever.
Dude.
But I feel like that's kind of the only thing he would want. To me, I feel like Belichick would be like, all right, America's team, I'll take that. Mm-hmm. But why? What does he have to gain from coaching a bad Falcons team?
Yeah, no, for sure.
They're a quarterback away, in my opinion.
They are, but that could kind of tarnish his legacy. If he doesn't get it done with them, all of a sudden it's like, oh, he really can't win with that.
I feel like he's at a point in his career where he can step away and still have utmost respect.
Yeah, because now you can just say, hey, they had trash quarterbacks after Brady, but if he goes to a new team where he's got the reins again, that's on him.
Yeah.
We're looking at Jim Harbaugh again. Jim Harbaugh rumored to be leaving Michigan. I can definitely see it. He won the Natty, and he definitely wants to win a Super Bowl now. He obviously lost to his brother in 2013 in Super Bowl 47 or whatever it was. But I definitely can see him going to the Chargers to coach a quarterback like Justin Herbert there, get some weapons around him. So we'll see what happens with him. I definitely think he's leaving Michigan, though. There's a lot of players leaving Michigan that declared for the draft. So
I agree.
We'll see what happens.
I agree with you. I don't know where his best fit is, but I always did think that he wanted to get back into the NFL, and now he's at his highest point, so it's not really a better time than now.
Yeah, plus he's kind of got to dodge those whatever punishments are coming his way from NCAA, so it just makes sense for him to get out of there while he can.
Yeah, he'll want to leave his legacy. He won't want to have that title vacated.
Yeah, I think NFL makes the most sense for him,
which would be pretty fun.
Probably Chargers, considering Herbert's there. I think that's the most tempting job for sure. And if he wants it, he'll get it.
Yeah. And then we'll move into some NFL takeaways from the season. First sort of proposition question, is Deshaun Watson still the future for the Browns? I think he is. The dude went 5-1 as a starter. He just battled injuries. Definitely showed a lot of promise. He doesn't have the mobility, but he still has sort of the breaking tackles ability in the pocket and getting away. So I can definitely see him. Definitely needs to increase the arm strength a little bit, but I like what I saw from Deshaun this year. Love to see Joe Flacco as a backup, though. Definitely could help out.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson is going to be the future for the Browns.
I say you give him 2 more years.
I mean, that's what's on his contract, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know that he necessarily should be. And he was, I'm going to say 4-1 as a starter. I'm not counting the Colts game where he got hurt early. But he just eye test wise, he didn't look that impressive outside of that Ravens game. But they're kind of locked in. I mean, you can't sign a dude to that much guaranteed money and just say, all right, we're done after 2 years. Like, you gotta
especially when he was hurt.
Yeah.
For a good chunk of those years.
And I already know next season if he starts slow, the rust argument is going to come back.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be a whole thing.
I think there's just too much money going toward him right now to give up on him. You know, the Browns obviously, I feel like they just had a shaky season. You know, there wasn't really anything to take away from it. They were it's still almost alive for the number 1 seed going into the last week almost. So
yeah.
They're a good team. It was just unlucky. Deshaun, it just blows with these injuries. I think actually once he gets more steps under him, more snaps, that he's actually not going to get back to what he was, but he's going to get back to being a above average QB in the NFL.
If they're smart too, when Nick Chubb comes back, that should still be the center of their offense, in my opinion. As long as they have that O-line.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens. The Browns did just fire their OC, Alex Van Pelt, so you would have to assume something's going to change with the offense. I don't know what exactly that will look like, considering Stefanski was the play caller the whole time Van Pelt was there. But I would imagine they'll still try and have it built around Chubb and some play action.
And then we'll move on to the Steelers, one of the Browns' rivals. Where do we think the Steelers are going to find their future quarterback? Honestly, not in free agency. I don't think.
You don't think?
Nah. Not in a trade
That's what
either.
everyone's saying.
Not in a trade either. I don't know.
There's some rumors going on about Baker right now.
Baker, that'd be kind of weird. I think he's going to re-sign with the Bucs. What he's done there looks pretty good. But I don't know. I think if he signs there with the Bucs, he's going to try and keep Mike Evans with him too. That could help. The only one I could see in a trade is Justin Fields. I mean, this is
it would take a lot for him, I think, too.
Stacked QB draft.
Even people are talking about Kirk Cousins, which I honestly really wouldn't mind. I wouldn't love it, but the thing with Kirk is I don't think we'd have to pay him as much. People are saying Russell Wilson, he's still going to want a bag. He's still going to want a lot of money, and we just don't have it right now. We're paying our defense the most and more than anyone in the league.
Yeah, I like the Kirk Cousins idea the best. I don't think Russ is it.
Yeah, but it just blows because I'll want to say it straight up, our future quarterback's not on our roster, and I know it, and it's just bad.
Hear me out, Michael Penix Jr. Get that big frame back in the pocket. A guy.
It's gonna go too early. I don't want to trade up for somebody.
We'll see.
Someone's gonna fall in that class.
You gotta hope he has a bad combine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has bad stats of injury prone. I don't really want a guy that's torn. What?
His
both
ACL
ACLs?
No, he's torn the same ACL 4 times.
Okay, same, and then shoulder surgery on both.
I'm not
something
sure.
like that.
He's got a laundry list.
He's had exactly, dude. I want a guy that's. It's a good story for him, but like I think he's gonna slide because of all that injury-prone stuff. To be honest with you.
After that, NFL, we'll move into a college football recap. We didn't really get into any like college football playoff predictions because we couldn't get those episodes out. Michigan ended up winning the Natty over Bama, and then they beat Washington. So obviously we know what happened with that. A lot of Michigan players declared for the draft after they stayed and they became champions, as they would say there. And then moving in, like after the season, one of the main things was Nick Saban retired. No one really expected this. He's the greatest college football coach of all time, one of the greatest coaches of all time in general. As my dad was telling me, he's the greatest DB coach everyone's ever seen in his life. Apparently knows literally anything about everything, or everything about anything. But, I mean, legend. Got to respect the guy, even if you're like an Auburn fan. So, congratulations to him. Hope he can enjoy his retirement.
Yeah, I think my big takeaway from the Saban retirement is the culture at Bama doesn't look great with him gone.
How many people?
They didn't give him. I don't think they're giving this dude a chance.
Their number one, commit. I just decommitted the other day.
Bama's had, I want to say 6 decommits.
They just they like lost their
20 plus transfers. Kellen DeBoer is kind of in trouble here. I feel like this was low-key a trap job.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, whoever took this job was going to have to follow the greatest coach in college football history.
I don't think it'll be good. And I think they'll be good because it's Alabama, but I don't think they might go like 9-3.
Yeah, I could see that.
He doesn't fit Alabama. Nick Saban was a yeller, and Kalen DeBoer just seems like a chill dude. You need to like get on dudes' asses.
Yeah. And like I'm already concerned about DeBoer's recruiting a little bit because he couldn't retain those guys. Like I know no one cares, so I'll make this quick, but like Duke had a coaching change. So many guys hit the transfer portal. Damn near all of them came back.
Yeah.
So like the fact that Bama, like a brand as big as Bama, can't get these guys back is like concerning to me.
Yeah.
I think they'll find some guys. If they put up one good year, they'll have the talent. I think they need some receivers. That's one thing they could not succeed in the playoff.
Guarantee 3 losses next year, and it's crazy to say, but 3 losses can probably get them into the playoffs still.
Maybe.
I think it could, honestly. A lot of teams are going to get beat up.
They do lose a little brand name now, though.
It depends how competitive it is.
But they still have the top-notch facilities. It's kind of like they got way more, like LSU's just as insane facility-wise, and like still going to Alabama means something. Even before Saban was there, they were starting to become like a franchise.
Yeah, Milroe is favorite for the Heisman so far, even though it's way out. But I could see him winning it after the way his season ended. Coaches being fired. I don't think there's a lot of coaches being fired. I can't really think of any in my mind.
Narduzzi should be.
Narduzzi.
Why is this on here?
Yeah, I don't know. Did I put this?
Ryan Day should damn well be fired by now. So should Chris Holtman.
Oh, yeah, everyone cares about Chris Holtman.
I do. The future of the playoff. We'll talk about the transfer portal a little bit. Teams winning the transfer portal right now are like Ole Miss. They got a lot of guys.
Huge.
They lost a lot of guys. They lost a big guy, Quinshon Judkins.
I was just hoping you were going to make it through that sentence. I was a little worried.
Quinshon Judkins committed to Ohio State, so they got them and Trayvon. Speaking of Ohio State, a lot of guys returning, looking promising next year. We'll see how the quarterback situation plays out and the coaching situation. It seems Ryan Day is giving up play calling as well. But I also saw Quinshon Judkins seem to end pretty harshly with Ole Miss. Apparently he was talking trash to his own O-lineman in that Peach Bowl game, and Jackson Dart heard him and went up to Kiffin and was pissed. So we'll see what happens there. But Ohio State looking good next year. It's pretty promising. Got to hope for Caleb Downs in the portal too. Then that'll solidify my happiness.
I think that's a reach, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very pissed if we didn't get him because we got a lot of safeties back, but we got to get some O-line.
Yeah, I got nothing really to say other than Cam Ward, who was supposedly entering the draft, is now going to Miami, which was like really interesting because like he announced that like damn near a month ago, and then a few days ago this week he announced that he's going to Miami. So that's going to be a very interesting pickup in the ACC. I think that's what Miami's needed. They've been a quarterback away for a really long time, and the way Cam Ward can sling it, that should be impressive. And back with, like, the future of the playoff, like, as I was saying, like, 3 lost teams are going to be getting in. You're definitely going to, I hope, getting a non-Power 5 team, well, now non-Power 4 team.
I think that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
That's the way the format works.
Yeah, I think there is one spot.
There is one guaranteed spot.
Out for the for a group of 5
There's
team.
one guaranteed spot. Yeah. But, yeah, it's looking good. Depends how competitive it is to see how the 3... But with the way how the conferences are now, that'll probably happen.
Everyone's going to be losing games.
Yeah.
It's going to be so hard to find an undefeated team these days.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Could see Georgia just going undefeated, as they now have the best coach in college football, in my opinion, Kirby Smart. But we'll move into some college basketball. Butler basketball discussion. Big East play has started. They're about through 6 games.
6.
So they're 2 and 4. Wins against Marquette and Georgetown.
Kind of opposite ends of the spectrum.
We're 2 and 5.
2 and 5.
We are 2 and 5 right now.
We'll be 3 and 5 after Saturday, hopefully.
If we're not,
there's a problem.
Yeah.
If we're not just throwing the towel.
Yeah. But right now, I feel like we look like a classic like back end bubble team.
Yeah.
We can beat good teams because we beat Marquette. We got early season win with like Texas Tech, but
Marquette just played so bad that game.
They did, but we played all right. We can also obviously just implode. And
it was the first game we led under 70.
Yeah.
Every team has their best shooting performance against us because our defense is just too loose. You know, I saw some BS video early in the season, like before season came out. It was like basically trying to show how much tough of a team we are. Like I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It was like a 5 a.m. practice at the Selleck Bowl. And they're like running sprints, diving on like the grass, like trying to show we're some tough team. God, like I don't need no hate for this, but I think we're kind of soft right now, and I think the guys need to show it. Can't have. What hurts right now is Telford's. Pierre's the only dude showing up on the daily. I've never seen Posh and DJ have a good game together. No. It's either one's playing good or the one's playing terrible right now.
DJ Davis has low-key sucked recently.
He sucked the last 3 games, and Posh ever since St. John's has actually been decent.
Yeah, Posh.
That and the UConn game was rough. Marquette played good, and then both these back losses, Seton Hall and Xavier, he led us in scoring.
Yeah, he's been.
If Posh is leading us in scoring, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Give the ball to Pierre Brooks more too. I mean, that's one of the better scorers on the team.
Yeah, he's got some underrated range, too. Yeah. He's pretty consistently stepping out from a few steps back from the line.
And NBA range for sure. So it's kind of just frustrating. We have some easier games coming up, but February is going to be a really hard month for us. So we just got to take care of business on the home court. It really hurt against Seton Hall. We need these home wins. So, but like we say we steal a few, we're right back in discussion. So. Should be interesting to go by.
We'll move on to MLB talk. A lot of stuff has happened there after not uploading for a while. Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers. Glasnow signed with the Dodgers.
Just the list goes on.
The list goes on. They've spent like $1.2 billion in one offseason, and teams aren't even spending that in like 20 years. So something definitely needs to change. MLB needs to look into the salary cap. There needs to be a cap floor and cap space, whatever it is. I don't really know how that stuff always works, but something needs to happen where a team can be spending like $5 million a year and another team can be spending $1 billion a year.
Yeah, I think the problem for MLB is pretty clearly Rob Manfred. He's consistently been the worst commissioner in sports for as long as he's been the commissioner. And I think the problem is pretty obvious. Like Drew said, there needs to be a salary cap. There needs to be a salary floor. Because you look at free agency, you got the Dodgers spending $1.2 billion in one offseason, which obviously they deferred some money, so their payroll itself isn't going to reflect that. But a ridiculous amount to spend. And then you got a team like the Rockies. They've spent $8 million so far. The Marlins have spent $6 million, which is just an absurd difference between these caliber of teams. There's obviously no chance a $6 million offseason is going to be even close to a $1.2 million. So there needs to be a salary cap. There needs to be a salary floor. Obviously, Rob Manfred isn't going to do it because his job is to keep the owners happy. And the owners just don't want it. But the owners are not seeing that they're hurting their product. Because if you look at a team like the Marlins, nobody's going to show up to see your $6 million offseason. Nobody cares. Like, no one's going to show up to the games. You look at teams like the Rockies or the Pirates or the Guardians, like, these teams aren't spending and the fans are losing their interest. So they need to realize
I think the pitch clock did help with the interest.
The pitch clock helped.
Attendance last year was really good.
The pitch clock helped, but they need to realize that paying these players isn't just paying for these guys to play, it's investing in the fans.
Yeah.
Because when you pay for these players to come to your team and put on a good product, the fans are going to show out.
Dude.
And you're going to make more money in the long run. They're not seeing it.
No one's going to a Buccos game unless there's fireworks after, dude. There's no one going to a game. It's bad. Stadium's always empty. The top rows never. There's no one there.
Yeah.
There's just not the attention, and like at some point you gotta feel bad for the players because they deserve fans, and none of this is on them for real. Like, it sucks that one team's gonna be like a dynasty and you can't do anything about it with money, and like
losing the NLDS.
Yeah.
To the 84 win Rockies.
Diamondbacks?
Rockies. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
They're probably
the $8 million Rockies.
No, but it's the truth. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even like with Baltimore, like they didn't even, were they selling out all those games this year?
Yeah, well they were good.
They had good crowds.
Yeah, but like
the Guardians have good crowds over the summers on weekends and stuff. It depends what's going on, but like in that September, like April part, that it's bad. And I mean, the owners there just are refuse to spend money. I don't really know about the Nationals or the Pirates. I know the Pirates owner's pretty bad.
The Nationals, I mean, for fan-wise, they were in a similar situation. There was really a lot of empty seats early and late in the season. They are willing to spend. Like, the Rizzos are not
you guys
the worst.
actually spend money.
They're not the worst owners. They'll pay when it's time to pay. The Nats are just rebuilding right now. But
also a reason maybe the season needs to be a little shorter for fan money. But just the way this offseason went, something needs to change. I think one of the only reasons it's not changing is because, like, a team like the Rays, who don't spend money, have succeeded. Like, teams like the Nats, they won the World Series. If there's one year where all those teams just suck, I think something will change.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is as fun as it is to have that like underdog, like the scrappy underdog, low payroll team make it far, it keeps just convincing the owners like, hey, we can do this without spending any money.
Yeah, but it's hit and miss, and it's only one
as good
small
as,
market team a year.
Yeah.
As good as the movie is, Moneyball may have just ruined baseball.
It's truth.
But yeah, that's kind of our yap session about that. Geno's going to talk about some Aliquippa football.
Yeah, it's not really a known thing. Aliquippa, it's like 30 minutes outside Pittsburgh. It's single A size football program. Who's played the last 4 seasons in 4A, and in PA there's only 6 classifications. There's 118 boys only, so it's the same type of size school as my high school. Like, we should have been going up against them. They voluntarily would play up, and then with like the power points, so if you make it to the state quarterfinals and have a certain amount of transfers, you're going to be bumped up every 2 years, which is like, it's not fair for them. They're already voluntarily playing up. They're not getting transfers because kids want to. You're moving there if you have no money. The average income is like $36,000, and that's a household. And at the end of the day, a lot of these are single parent households, so it's an old steel town. It's very not populated at all. Their best player just went to like the strongest. They went to Central. Okay. Their best freshman went to the main private high school in the city. No one's moving there to play. Like, you gotta trust me here. They're known. They actually have the most Hall of Famers of any public high school in the country. Ty Law, Darrell Revis, Mike Ditka. So they produce people year after year, college guys everywhere. And the state's moving them up to 5A, which is ridiculous. They're playing against schools with 600 boys. That's 6 times their size. At the end of the day, you got to look at the safety. They dress 30 dudes. You're going to have against rosters of 100. At the end of the day, you got to look for safety, and the PIA is stupid. They just said that they will not listen to any takes about hearing about the safety of their players, because that's what they complained about last time, which is a good point. 30 guys barely have enough for a scout team, let alone a team who has probably a JV and like probably maybe 2 JV teams and a freshman team. So it's just stupid. These kids deserve better. None of these kids want to live there. but like they live there with like the proud tradition. Like they just understand you come from this place, like you're not gonna get anything handed to them, and like they work hard for it. And I don't know why the state's trying to take it away from them. So it's just really frustrating. And like there's another school everyone knows, Julian Fleming. He's now at Penn State.
Yeah.
Which I think that's where he should have went off the get-go. He went to a high school in the middle of PA. They've been in 10 straight state titles, and they've been yet to move up. And the difference between them and Aliquippa is one's an all-white school and one's an all-black school, basically. So that's kind of just frustrating. Because that team, they've won, but 7 straight have been in the last 10 for Double-A, and nothing's happened to them every year. They just stay in Double-A, killing every team. They lost their first game this year in the last 5 years, and it was to a Triple-A team. So it's just frustrating for Aliquippa. And like the state's basically said there's no way they're going to beat this case. So a team of 30-some dudes is going to be playing a 90-man roster next year. And somehow the state thinks that's right. So I just had to get that out there. I don't know. It's kind of like what's it called? It's not like I'm trying to show them pity, but like at the end of the day, you got to look at reality. You can't have a school that small going up against a school that big. Even if they're winning games, they're winning games because they're playing good. They're good. There's good coaching. Their coach is really good. Like, you can't penalize the players just because they're winning. It's frustrating.
Thank you for that. I'd just like to point out, Bucks without Giannis, but Cavs are up by 40.
We're going from that to a Bucks roast.
Cavs are up by 40 in the third quarter with 4 minutes left. Thanasis is already in. That should show you how this game's going.
Yeah, that's like our white flag.
Yeah.
Y'all got to put Alex on the roster and get him in there.
Dude, he was in the G League team for a while.
Yeah. But obviously no Giannis, you know. But you still got Dame.
But yeah, we didn't need to hear that.
Yeah, sorry.
Little pre-precaution. We're gonna switch it over to NFL predictions. Divisional round. We got Texans at Ravens. Did I even pick?
Nope,
yet?
you haven't done yours.
Not pick.
No one told me to pick. You guys gotta go.
You should remember to pick. We're on episode 9.
I'll start. I originally had the Texans, but I'm gonna take the Ravens. I think it's hard to beat a team twice. Ravens beat them in week 1, but I think when it's that far apart, I think you can definitely come back and create a game plan. But Ravens have rested starters. This game's going to be really close. But I just think the Ravens pull it out because I think their defense will be able to slow down the Texans a little bit.
This is a strictly narrative-based pick with only a little bit of logic, but I'm taking the Texans. I kind of had a feeling, I didn't get to say it on the podcast because we weren't able to put it out there, but before the playoffs started, I had a feeling that a Stroud run to the Super Bowl was going to be like the big narrative of the playoffs. Now that he got the first step out of the way, I got to stick with that. But besides that, we have seen kind of year after year, 1 seeds don't necessarily lose in their first game, but there's always some signs of rust after they, especially a team like the Ravens that rested their starters in week 18.
Yeah, that's 3 weeks without ball.
You got a lot of guys who haven't played in 3 weeks. So I think the Texans are going to have a little bit more momentum to ride. But obviously the Ravens are really talented. Mark Andrews might be back.
He should be.
It's going to be a tough game for the Texans, but I got them pulling it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one. I think it's just their year. This first year, they're really not hit that hard by injury bug. I do think they're going to come out losing. I think they might go down 2 scores, maybe 10-0 to start the game, but I think they're going to pick it up. I think this is their year, especially at home. But Stroud's going to go in with the I got nothing to lose mentality. He's definitely going to give him a game. I think it's going to come down to last drive, but everyone knows if it's coming down at the end of the game and you got Justin Tucker on the sideline, you're shitting your pants.
He's 0 for 5 from 50-plus this year.
Is that true?
Yeah, he's getting old.
He's washed.
We'll move on to the next game. That'll be on Saturday. Packers versus 49ers. I'm going to take the Niners. I don't think the Packers will have found out how to beat the Niners yet, so Niners by like 11.
Yeah, again, I mean, Niners having the bye obviously does a little something there. They might get off to a slow start, but I think this is just Packers are a little bit outmatched on this one. Niners are definitely a lot more trustworthy than the Cowboys, especially in the playoffs, so I think they should get the job done on this one.
Yeah, I got the Niners too. I think this might be a blowout. This could get ugly. I don't know. I just don't think the Packers can pull it off twice. I think the 49ers are just too experienced. They're going to be ready to go for sure. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be much rust.
We'll move on. Buccaneers versus Lions. I'm going to take the Lions. I just can't see them losing at home in the environment that they're going to have. Obviously winning in their first week, which hasn't happened in 32 years or something. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty close game. Baker will compete. Obviously the Lions pass defense is really, really bad. But I think the Lions will just pull it out.
Yeah, the Lions secondary is a little bit suspect. That's what I was worried about against the Rams, but I mean, I'm more scared of the Rams than I am of the Bucs. I think if they can beat the Rams, they can beat the Bucs.
Yeah, they got to get pressure on Baker. I think that's the only thing. Then
Dude, here's the thing. This game's gonna be interesting. Everyone knows Bucs blitz 75% of the time, and I really routed Jalen Hurts. So I like the Bucs to actually pull this one out. I just think there's still no one talking about them, and you know who loves that more than anything? Baker Mayfield.
That's true.
No attention. No one's looking at him. He's just balling right now with no expectations. I think the Bucs go on the road and they steal this one, and we're looking at an NFC South team and one step away from a Super Bowl.
Please no.
That'd be insane.
I'd love it.
Chiefs versus Bills. I'm gonna take the Bills. This has to be their year. Please, not another year of just pain losing to the team that basically owns them in the playoffs. I think the Bills will pull this one out just because of I feel like Mahomes is going to have a bad game. First ever playoff game on the road. It's going to be in a tough environment too. So I actually think he's going to have a bad game. Chiefs might struggle with some drops. Bills are probably going to capitalize off that. I think the Bills win it in a close one though.
First road game for Mahomes is definitely a big deal. I think it'll be really interesting to see how he reacts to that. But I am going to take the Chiefs. I just don't think they really played that well against the Dolphins, and they still won pretty easily. Obviously, the Dolphins might have been frauds, but
they were.
The Bills have been really up and down. Obviously, they're on a hot streak, but they look beatable. I don't think this is some like buzzsaw that the Chiefs can't get past. And I have seen it's going to be some bad weather again, so that'll be interesting.
I think it's definitely a toss-up. It's not
close.
like either team's really got the upper hand in this one. I am kind of worried because the Bills, they lost, I think, 2 guys in our game, injury-wise, and I don't know if they're going to be able to play. So, I just think them at home, they're due to beat the Chiefs. They have to. They can't lose again. I'm hoping for another classic, which we all are, but I just don't think Mahomes wins this one. I don't want him to, and I'm basically just picking that off. I just can't. I just will not have this guy win. I don't want to see him win.
I think if Mahomes wins this one, we might have to start having a conversation about Josh Allen might be like the Phillip Rivers of this generation of QBs, where he just can't kind of get by all the other guys.
Really. Yeah, no, that's a good point. We're going to now move over to college basketball predictions. We're going to start with this Saturday, DePaul at Butler. This is a lock, Butler, for me. I'm just not even going to imagine a DePaul win.
I'm going to take Butler. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I can't even name a DePaul player. Butler.
They got like a high 4-star. That was crazy. I saw. It was like a first 4-star in a minute.
They must have thrown him their entire NIL package.
Pitt at Duke. I'm going to take Duke. Easy.
I learned my lesson. I'm going to take Duke. I witnessed what I didn't need to witness. So, but watch Pitt like somehow. We're like 1-5 in ACC play. It's not going good. We have the talent. It's just not really coming together. We don't have a good big, and Pieschalski killed us last time, so it's just gonna be a redo.
This does low-key feel like a little bit of a trap game for Duke, but I just don't see them winning by 30 on the road, and then
not being able to win it.
Yeah, going home having won like 8 straight, and then not being able to close it out. I think it's gonna be closer than it might appear, but it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be too scary.
We weirdly play decent in Cameron. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We play decent.
You usually play close and end up losing. Yeah. But it's not gonna be that easy. But give me Duke.
Next Big 12 play. This is a really big matchup. Iowa State at TCU. Looks like a clean sweep.
Was that not on purpose?
We all remember my struggles. I got the Horned Frogs winning at home. I got TCU.
I'll take the Frogs. Tough loss versus Cincinnati. Actually, shout out to a lot of my friends. They stormed the court last night. Seemed pretty cool. So TCU is gonna come back and win.
TCU's played 4 Big 12 games so far. 3 of them were against ranked teams. The 4th was against another tourney team in Cincinnati. Home team has won every game. Give me TCU at home.
Move on to BYU at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is actually ranked now. I'm gonna take Texas Tech. Pop Isaac's a dog for real.
BYU, I like the way they've been hanging into games. They've been a little shaky recently, but they're playing everyone pretty tough. I think this could be a really, really good game, maybe OT. But I like BYU for some reason. I can't really explain why.
Yeah, they're like a slept-on team. But I'm gonna go with who are we picking? I'm gonna go with Texas Tech. They're hot right now. They're at Houston as we're currently filming this, so I think I can see them losing as we film this, and I think it's gonna be a big response win this weekend. They're gonna need it.
After that, we got Ole Miss at Auburn. I was originally going to say Ole Miss.
You had Ole Miss?
Yeah, I had Ole
right
Miss.
Before we started filming, this kid goes, yeah, Ole Miss is a fraud.
Yeah,
I saw it, I was like, dude, what?
I was taking Ole Miss. I decided to wait until the end. As we were recording, they were playing LSU. They just took the loss on the road there. I decided to wait and make sure they ended up losing before I switched my pick, but they haven't really beat a lot of quality teams yet. I think their only real big win is still Memphis, and that was back in November. So they got to prove it a little more before I trust them against Auburn.
I'm gonna take Auburn too. I don't trust Ole Miss because they lost to Tennessee and they screwed me. Could have had the greatest comeback ever to these kids right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Auburn as well, especially at home. I just don't. It's not gonna be much of a contest.
We'll look at Butler at Georgetown now. The second matchup between these two. Butler took the first one. I'm gonna take Butler. Better pull this one out.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta win road games against the bottom of the barrel teams like Georgetown in the Big East. So this is again like DePaul, not as much of a slam dunk, but they need to win this.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. Georgetown actually plays pretty decent at home. If you've looked at them, who were they? They were playing someone decent the other day. They were holding in with UConn for a while. I think that's what it was. And then Seton Hall won by 2 there. So them at home, it's gonna be hard, but our backs against the wall. I actually saw DJ Davis today on campus for the first time ever.
Really?
I've never
Where
seen
at?
him.
He is my height, like 100%.
Really?
I was walking back from the gym, and I see this guy coming up. I was like, that's DJ. Like, I was with Baca. I was with Adrian. I was like, dude, we're walking by, and I'm like, it was 100% DJ Davis.
Is he actually your height?
Swear to
How tall are you?
5'10", maybe.
Bro, they pump up the heights
No,
huge
you're
then.
5'11".
Yeah.
I'd say I'm 5'10", but I think you're a little taller than me.
Yeah, like he's under 6 foot, like without a doubt.
Butler definitely pumps up the height. 'Cause I have a similar thing, but I've had class
inches?
with Posh, and he's listed at I think either 6 foot or 6'1". He's definitely shorter than me.
Yeah.
I'm 6 foot, so
Oh.
I don't know about the heights, but
Dude, I gotta see his weight, because like I felt like I might have outweighed him too, because he just looked like, and it was him 100%. I could tell by the mustache. I
mean the hair is pretty obvious.
he had his hood up though.
175.
He's listed at 6'1", 175.
Yeah, that's some cap.
We're gonna move on to Houston. Wait, you made your pick, right?
Yeah, Butler.
All right, Houston at BYU. I'm gonna take BYU. I'm pretty sure it's a tough environment over there. Where
In Provo,
is it called? Provo,
Yeah.
Utah. Provo, Utah.
BYU's pulling it out.
Yeah.
Houston don't know comp, bro. They don't know comp. They don't know how to face comp every night in and night out. That's what the Big 12 is. They're not used to that. I still think I just see them struggling a little bit. They've lost both road games this year. In Big 12 play, lost at Iowa State, which is a super hard place to play, and they lost at TCU, which is honestly not that great of an environment. And BYU is going to be bouncing.
Yeah, BYU is one of the more underrated environments in college basketball. That's going to be tough. But I think Houston's had enough time to settle in now. I think Kelvin Sampson's got to get some kind of message through about playing on the road. And I think this team is too good to just keep losing every single road game. Plus, I mean, there's no way I can make this a BYU sweep.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild. So I'm taking Houston.
First year in the Big 12, right?
Yeah,
for
it
both.
is.
Yeah. Move on to Kansas State at Iowa State. I'm going to take Iowa State.
Kansas State is weirdly kind of hot. They just beat Baylor the other night. I don't need to be seeing this, bro.
George's Niang has 27 points right now.
Shooting 100% too.
I don't know. Just Kansas State's kind of hot going into this. They're probably going to pick up a win before Oklahoma State at home. But Ames is just too hard of a place to play. I'm going to take Iowa State Cyclones.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a clean slate. Go with Iowa State here in the little bubble matchup.
Clean sweep.
Clean sleep.
Oh.
We run with it now.
Yeah, no, it's a go-to for the show.
Oh, make a move, George.
Oh my God.
Okay. Hey, he didn't make it. He didn't put up a shot.
Move on from that.
That's how we're closing it out.
That's how we're gonna close it out.
George Niang has 30.
Thank you for watching, and we'll get more episodes out every weekly.
We're back.
We're so back.
We're so back.
And we're entering prime college basketball time. Make sure you check out the Twitter. Every Monday, me and Sawyer are dropping our new bracketologies.
Monday or Tuesday.
Or Tuesday. I was late as can be. I posted mine at late Monday night.
Yeah.
But I got mine in on Monday.
Instagram as well. Some reels from that if you don't want to watch the full episode.
Yeah. Start to check those out for sure.
Thank you for watching.